Hi everyone, I'm Seymour, co-founder and the managing partner of Coders. Today's our guest is Mr. Etibar, data science instructor at Coders Bootcamp. Mr. Etibar, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi Seymour, hi everyone. Thanks for introducing me. So I'm Etibar, as you know, so I can speak about my actually background, like educational background as well as like the work experience. So basically, I've studied actually some interrelated fields. Then I decided to move to data science because I saw the perspective there. Like, I studied firstly like administration and economics, then I just moved to data science, which my field was actually computational analytics. Basically, it's interdisciplinary field. So when I used to work in banking sector, I decided to actually change my field and just move actually to data science totally, because I had some exposure to robotics process automation, and there I started seeing the influence of data. So then, yeah, of course, I studied like another 2 more years, extra, just like to learn it deeper, to be more qualified in this field. So yeah, that's pretty much all about my background. But like regarding work experience, I can tell actually I used to work in different fields, which include but not limited to banking sector, some manufacturing sector, and as of now, I am working as a data science instructor at Coders.
Great. What is the importance of data science from your side?
I would say like there is so-called sentence which is like data is new oil. So that's actually true because like based on your data, like everyone can do anything, because data science is just like is a field where you're just trying to put information and you are trying to get the knowledge from that. So that's really important. So meaning that like as long as you got the data, you got the power. Data science is just a field where you're actually using different kind of skills. Like computer science skills, like the coding part. You're also trying to use like statistics and math skills, because it's just combination of that. You are basically trying to apply some statistical models, methods, mathematical models, just by writing some codes. So this is just data science. But like if you're asking me some sample, I can give you one small sample. I guess everyone knows it, and whoever using like the smartphones will know that. So there's face recognition, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to use like phone to recognize your face. So this is just like for security purposes, right? So like when you're trying to open like your iPhone, the iPhone is trying to match your face with their like data set. So what's really happening when you firstly try to start your phone, first you're trying to register your like image in iPhone. So whenever you are trying to open the phone, like iPhone will try to match your current photo with the previous photo. Basically, this is data science, right? Because this based on like the some let's say predictions, like your data, your image actually is actually data. So basically, it's based on the colors, which is like red, green, blue colors. So RGB. So when you apply it in the data science, basically you are trying to get the numbers from the colors, and based on these numbers, there is some calculation happening behind that. So basically it's trying to figure out if it is you or not. So that's just one sample, right?
Who should learn it?
Okay, it's actually more about passion, If you got like the passion about the field, I would really urge you to go and start like learning it. Of course, there's gonna be like some difficulties, meaning like you might have some problems like writing the code, you will have some errors, you will have some mistakes, but in the end, you are trying to learn something, right? So basically it might be difficult for you, but like as long as you are passionate about that, you can really go for it. So it requires some level of statistics knowledge, it requires some knowledge, like some level of computer science knowledge, like the coding, some data structures. So this is just like some difficulties in the beginning, but like as long as you put some work into that, you can really do it. So I guess everyone can do it. There is no limit to that, It's just about your passion.
Could you please give the information about the data mining structures and manipulation?
Data mining it looks like actually Minecraft, I guess like some people used to play like Minecraft. In Minecraft, you're trying to mine it, right? So it's almost the same, like, let me tell you this way, so let me rephrase it. It's by and large, you are trying to put some information, like your data, and you are trying to apply some methodologies like preparing the data set, because you need to make sure that the data set is good enough to be processed so that you can really get it. So basically data mining is trying to like get some predictions, like basically there are different kind of methodologies, as I told you. Like so you can use some different kind of techniques, prepare the data set, just put into the model and get the results. So there are different kind of models, statistical models, that you will try to basically use it, so that like basically you are trying to get some predictions, and based on this you are trying to get the meaning. Because like at the end of the day, like if you are working at some company will try to like solve some business question, right? So they are giving you some business question, and based on this business question you will try to use different kind of skills to make it happen. So there are different kind of fields right now. Like the huge part, I would say that like there is a like NLP part, which is natural language processing. There is computer vision, which is like trying to detect some objects, like let's say like the cameras is trying to figure out if it is like a human, or if it is like some animal, or if it is like some car or something else. So this is like also part of the data science. Or if you are applying in the banking sector is trying to figure out how much the stock price will increase. So this is also part of it, right? So depending on the field, you can apply different kind of ways. And this is like basically data science. And like when it comes to methodologies, there are different kind of methodologies. I can actually give some samples, but like this is more about like theoretical part, I would say. But like in a sense, it's still artificial intelligence. It's still part of the artificial intelligence. Just I can give you another sample. So let's say like there's a Tesla, right? So when like Tesla is autonomous car. So when it's actually moving on the road, it's trying to figure out what's around, like around the car. So the car will try to use some sensors, will get the data set, and after getting the data set, they can use some different kind of specific algorithms. So I can give you just one sample, which is like KNN. It's called KNN neighbors. So this algorithm is basically trying to figure out the distance between the object and your car. So based on this distance, based on this calculation, it can basically just like do some maneuvers. It can just like move to the right, left. So this is just one sample, right? So the Tesla is just like the smart car. That's why I just gave you this.
Yeah, if I'm looking from the business side, in the 19th century, most of the manufacturers are dramatically increased on that years, and all the countries are starting to extend their manufacturing. And in the modern country, they are just looking for the technology, and even in the Tesla is selling the technology rather than the raw materials.
Right. So like, well, like of course there is some price of the raw materials, but like what makes it expensive is just technology behind that.
Yeah.
It's like the mind behind that, because like it's smart, right? Because they are using different kind of things like technology so to make it happen. So like there are tons of things I can actually bring as a sample. Like let's say you have the Mac and you are trying to activate Siri, right? Yeah. This is called voice recognition. So based on your voice, like the computer is trying to get your data and trying to figure out if it is the person. So as long as you are the owner, you will be able to open it, because you just started the computer, right? Unless someone knows your password, that's a different case. I can't really like promise that, but like it's more about like your voice rather than like, you know, your voice, your photo, or like the data that belongs to you. Like, yeah, this is just for security purposes. That makes like our life better. So data science in general, like is just trying to figure out whether it can be helpful for human or not. So like it's also like artificial intelligence, as I told you. So yeah.
Really, yeah, I depend on that company, the Apple company, because they own all the information from me, even my fingerprint and the voice and the face, and all my bank accounts are linked to that companies. So yeah, that's why if I'm just thinking about the politically, it's also much more crucial point. Right. On that time, for example, in the early years, for example, before the centuries, I mean, all the countries are trying to occupying some territories. On that time, they're just measuring with the number of the soldiers and the weapons, for example. But right now, everything is a technology. That's why the cybersecurity is increasing, and there has a huge demand for that. All the things is protecting the data.
Right, exactly. So like the security side is the thing. So like the company is trying to put much emphasis on the security part of their data, because as I told you, it's like really valuable thing, so no one would really like to lose it. So you're trying to protect it as much as possible. So they are just like, there is like cybersecurity perspective, there's also the other perspectives I can tell, but like, yeah, exactly. Like in general, so the companies are trying to protect it as much as possible, because this is something they'll be using. They'll get something, you know, like the company can increase their ROE, like return on investment, by utilizing like the data. So in order to utilize it, you need to have skills, which is coming from data science.
Most of in which fields are implementing the data science methods more than the usual?
More than usual. Okay, so there are some like specific fields already actually improved, like data science skills, like in general. So I can tell you, like for instance, banking sector or IT sector, or like these sectors already like you know, already know like how to figure out how to implement basically data science. But there are some fields I can give you that health sector, for instance, or bioinformatics or something related to biology field. These fields are trying to use actual data science. It's not as improved as like, let's say, in IT or in banking sector. So that's why these fields are trying to put much like you know, emphasize on that. So that's a part I can tell. But like basically almost in every field you can use the data set, so data. So as long as you got the data from like the field, you can basically gain some like knowledge from that. So this can be like agriculture, for instance. Probably I've seen like some like specific like equipments they are using to like, you know, to grow some plants. So this can be like one field, or we can tell like, let's say, the computer vision, which is like trying to detect the objects. Like if some, like let's say you are just going to the company and you are trying to just like make sure that the company knows that you are here. So firstly what you do is just like you are registering based on your face. You are just like entering, there's like the specific like equipment that trying to figure out that you are here. So after like you register, the company knows that you are the person. Or if you are trying to enter to some specific places, in this case, yes, you will also need to such kind of security. Or like talking about like the military, you know, there are some UAVs which is also using like basically like object detection. Or if it is about like some text data, in this case there's natural language processing, which is also part of data science. Basically you are trying to just use the text data just to get some predictions, do different kind of things. Like let's say, just one sample I can give you, like Google, you are trying to find something on the Google, right? You're just typing the words, and based on the words, the Google gives you some recommendations, right? This is text data actually, you know, they are using some specific algorithms for that. Of course, like the CEO started like some specific algorithm, which is like page rank. They started with that, then they just started like moving to the other direction. Now it's actually almost in the perfect version, you know, you can find almost anything.
Yeah, on the recent years, when I just typed the sentences in fully,
right?
Yeah, mostly while typing half of the sentences, it knows that what kind of questions I'm gonna asking them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because it might be something that because it's based on the frequencies at some point, right? So the company, like the system already knows that like lots of people ask such kind of question, so it will give you some recommendations that maybe you're asking this kind of question, or you're asking this word, or you're asking this like music, you know. There's Shazam, you know. Shazam is also like based on your like voice. You don't know the words of the song, but like you keep saying it like at some point, and the let's say Google or Shazam like figuring out that this is actually the song you are looking for.
Yeah, it's also good for the user satisfaction side, because for example, if you want to go to buy something from the grocery store, even for example the bread and the chewing gum, and the next day you're just going and wants to buy the same things, on that time if the seller gives you or prefers you, do you want to take the same thing did you got before? On that time you're just feeling much more unique for that time, and yeah, already the sellers knows that what I want to get from there.
Right.
They're just feeling much more better than before, and maybe that's the same mind. The same thing is all the data are the collecting in the one how to say database. So they're just preferring the same thing. Maybe they just, first of all they're just grabbing them. And after that, they're just showing them, and you're just feeling much more satisfaction. But mainly, they're just taking the information from you and preferring to you the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yeah, that's a part of the technology. You know, it's supposed to make your life, you know, easy. So you don't really have to struggle much. As long as it like makes your life easy, that's actually the success of the technology and success of like the science, I would say, right? So yeah, that's the main part. So if you happen to like contribute in this field, that's also another satisfaction, you know. If you just join the data science and start figuring out things like helping some companies to contribute to the cause, so that's also another part. So you feel like, well, I am just part of the big picture because you contributed, right? So like that's why I'm just like saying that whoever is passionate about this field would really go for that.
Yeah. I asked all questions from you, and thank you for your time, Mr. Itibar.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah.
Thanks.